So in today's video, we got an interesting topic. I wanted to go through this boring business, quote unquote, that is making $100 million per year and crushing it on TikTok and on social media channels with paid ads. So the reason why I say this business is a boring business before I reveal the name and what they're actually selling is because when you look at the industry that they're in, most of the incumbents and the big brands that you already know are boring. They are not designed to appeal for that social media type of ads or content or audience, and they are really just kind of in the retail space mostly and are already, big brands that have established their reputations throughout the years. But this brand came in 4 to 3 years ago onto the scene and quickly have converted so many customers from those big brands and quickly seized many market shares from those incumbents. And if you look at the customer reviews on this brand's website, you will see many of them mention that they used to be buying or they used to be wearing products that from other incumbents, but now they have came across and have started really buying from this business and this brand. So there are many great lessons. And things that you can learn from this business. And I wanted to share them with you, and especially because the exponential and explosive growth, they started off in 2020, during the pandemic, but now they are already a $10 million plus brand and DTC business. So there are definitely a ton of things that you can learn from them. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. And the business I want to highlight in this video is Brunt Workwear. You probably have heard of them if you or someone in your family is in the construction, roofing, landscaping space. They are really killing it recently, and they're really killing it with ads, social, especially on the online paid marketing channels. Definitely pay attention to what they're doing, basically because they're doing something that is just very effective and it working really well. So the first takeaway I had after, learning a bit more about the business and looking at their websites, their social media channels, and their ads, their content, is they know exactly who they're talking to. They already have this perfect customer avatar, customer demographic in mind. So everything they talk about really makes sense for this specific audience. So what are the demographics? They are literally making workwear products and apparels, boots for construction workers, field workers, carpenters, etc. And obviously, I think that their market is focusing on the US and Canada. Obviously, in these two countries, there are a great population of male-dominated people that are interested in those fields, that are working actually in those fields. So I think another way to put this is a very self-aware brand. They know exactly who they know exactly who their customers are, what the problems they're struggling with, what are their experiences are like, and what are some of the common values or experiences that they all share. And I noticed, the founder has experience in those fields. So I think this really helped him very catapult this brand's pay marketing activities and marketing in general in the early stage. So the takeaway for you in this lesson is be sure you're providing a service or making a product for a target market that you are so familiar with, that you know the ins and outs of what the customers look like, what their values are, what they're struggling with, and what are some of the common experiences and things that they all share. So number 2, building a community. And this is kind of also goes into the previous point I made here, which is how they're able to fill in that gap. So basically, because those market leaders are already big brands or big businesses and organizations, they don't really take customers' reviews, customer feedback that seriously. And in other words, they don't evolve. Their products kind of tend to stay the same. However, for Brunt, they really look for customers' feedback and reviews, and also they care to build a community of people of similar, and they care to build a community of people on social media channels. So if you've noticed on their websites, there are a section literally just displaying different customers' content of reviewing brand's workwear products, and also kind of UGC images that are made or shot by real customers. So these are all things that are typically not done in this probably vertical or industry, but are done more in the industries that are perceived as more Gen Zers, probably skincare, beauty. But Brunch definitely took that playbook and it kind of applied to their business. Although it can be perceived as a boring industry, but they're really be able to put a spin on it, and obviously they are seeing the rewards. And number 3 is going back to the basics. When you have an idea or you have so number 3, really going back to the basics. Whenever you have a product or DTC or brand idea, the first thing that you need to figure out is the product. And many times, I would say 100% or probably 99% of the time, the success of a DTC brand really depends on the product itself, whether that is the quality, the reliability, the effectiveness. And obviously in this case, Brown Workwear does have a very high quality and very reliable and consistent quality of work boots. And they were so confident in their products that they're able to create and offer such a great product offering, which is 30-day free trial for all their products. It's just very enticing for people, especially for new customers that haven't really heard of the brand. And one barrier to entry to pull that trigger is probably the price. So especially for the boots, they are quite expensive. The cheapest one is kind of $140. But if the customers know, okay, I could try them out for 30 days, and if I don't like them, I can actually return them and get my full money back, then they're more likely to try them out. So I think this is also a very smart offer that they were able to make, because psychologically, after we buy something, this is kind of similar to what most SaaS companies are doing, which is people start to develop an attachment, a relationship with the products that they buy when they're kind of used to wearing them, especially for these folks that they probably will wear their work boots basically every day. And even if it's just a 30-day free trial, they will probably bought them at the end. So this is a very smart move from Brunt that both, offers customers a peace of mind, but also build that trust. So number 4 takeaway, which is really the reason why I came across this brand and I kind of really fell down this rabbit hole of wanting to learn a little bit more about them, and it really led to making this video, is their paid ads. They have a lot of really great UGC videos and also static images. And one thing I learned really, I have been repeating this in many of my content recently on YouTube, which is brands that have a very great and brands that are killing it on social media channels with paid ads often have a healthy balance of creative mix, meaning they will have some static images, and those most of the time, meaning they will have a 50-50 split between static images and UGCs. Brown is a perfect example for that. They have, many product images or high quality production shots and also UGC videos that are not only made by the founder himself, but also UGC videos that are made by creators or probably real customers. And I strongly recommend you to check out most of their UGC videos because, again, I think they are a very self-aware brand. They know exactly what they need to market. They know exactly what the customers, their targeted customers, experience on a day-to-day basis. So they are really speaking to their problems and their pain points. Probably another takeaway I'd like to mention here is in a quote-unquote perceived boring business industry, and the fact that this brand is utilizing so many UGC videos, so many UGC creatives in their ad account, and it seems like it's working for them. So if you are running a business or a brand that is targeting a younger demographic or just a demographic overall that is probably online most of the time, why are you doing UGCs? That is a question I've always been asking the brands, because obviously these are working for this brand, this business, even in a boring or very boomer dominated industries. So I think for marketing teams, I really urge them to seriously consider how they could incorporate video content, dynamic video ads. It doesn't have to be UGCs. It can just be a simple review video or videos in their ad account. And lastly, which I just actually basically mentioned, is the founder is in fact involved in the content creation process. So you will notice in the ad account, a few videos were actually done by himself, and he is a pretty good content creator, I would say, very good at articulating different unique selling points and benefits of his own products. And obviously he's a very aware products so well, so he are able to really speak about the benefits and the selling points to his audience very clearly. So that is also one of the things I have been encouraging early stage brands and founders to do, which is founders need to create content. You know, if you are not very comfortable or don't like creating content, find someone who can, and find someone who does. Because essentially, if you want to break out into the scene and really have that explosive growth for your young brand in today's day and age on social media, you have to be able to really reveal the curtain behind the brand and really step in front to the stage and allow audience and people to get to know you rather than just the brand, because people essentially want to know why you're starting this brand. What are the missions that you're looking to build? What are the values that you're trying to communicate? And I think this brand also has just done a really good job doing that. And especially the founder is very involved in the content creation, which just builds another layer of trust with his customers. So all in all, when I first came across this brand, I was really surprised how well they're doing. On Meta and also on TikTok, they have a relatively sizable audience on that channel as well. So there are a ton of things that you should learn, especially, and I think the fact that, they are in a relatively more male or, not tech savvy dominated audience, but they're crushing it on TikTok, on Meta, just goes to show you there's no excuse to not focus on excelling on social media or getting the best social media content and marketing strategies for your brand, because essentially everyone now lives online. So you have to be able to really utilize this channel as resources in a smart way to capture your customers' attention and really build that customer loyalty. As we are coming to the end of this video, hope it was helpful and giving you some ideas and thoughts on and really give you an urge to think about how you can really utilize and leverage social media content, and just think about how to create better videos and better creatives. If your brand is currently struggling to create high converting creatives ads and seeing scalable performance in your Meta account, as what Brand is doing for their brand, feel free to book a call down in the link below with our team to discover how we're able to help you create high quality, high converting UGC video content and dynamic video creatives in your ad account to really improve the situation and improve the overall results. So hope to catch you guys in the next